We've got water. This week is a full system tour and wrap-up. That's coming up. Hey everyone, Steve Poland here, and this is the 8th part in a series of videos about the Growout system that I'm building for my African cichlids in my basement crawl space. If you missed any of the previous videos, down in the description is a playlist where you can get all caught up. The project is coming to a close, and I've had a number of requests for a tour of the system with water in it. That has always been the plan, but I wanted to wait until the whole thing was up and running. This is one of the fish tanks. They're identical. I removed the lid from this one though so that you could see the water. Each one is sitting at around 150 gallons. Since each barrel filter is filled to at least 40 gallons, and the sump is filled to at least 30 gallons, that's a total volume of at least 400 gallons if I'm being conservative. That should be great for growing out fish really quickly. There are no fish yet because the system is currently cycling. I seeded it with some existing media, so it should be done in a few days. This is the solids lifting overflow in action. This is where the water level sits when everything is working properly. You can see that the top of the T sits a couple of inches below the top of the tank. So if the bottom of the SLO gets clogged, it acts as a backup. The returns back into the fish tank are flowing really well. This is obviously only half of the total flow. This probably won't be the final design, but for now it's giving me good surface agitation. You can also see how the spray foam insulation is filling in the gaps between the rigid foam insulation and the fish tank. It won't be winning any style awards, but it does a great job. This is the Radial flow filter. There's a 5-gallon bucket attached to the lid with stainless steel screws. There are holes drilled in the lid which accomplishes two things. First, it allows for off-gassing since it's where most of the waste ends up. And second, it eliminates the vacuum, making it much easier to remove the lid. Here you can see the water overflowing from the two standpipes and down into the overflow. When the lid is in place, the water must flow down around the lid before it can come back up. This is the moving bed filter in action. I've temporarily removed the mechanical filtration bucket while the system cycles since there is no solid waste. It just makes it easier for the K1 media to move around. I've added about 2/3 of the K1 at this point. It starts off buoyant until it gets some bacteria buildup. It's tough to tell, but there is quite a bit moving around in there. The stuff that's floating was only added yesterday. This is the sump with the water flowing. I'll remove the lid so you can get a better view. The water level may look low, but this is intentional. It allows for the excess water to flow into the sump in the event of a power loss. I completed my initial fill with the pump off and stopped when the water was a couple of inches below the top of the sump. I added a vertical pipe coming out of the moving bed filter to prevent a huge waterfall. It's tough to tell with it underwater, but there is a lot of water flowing back into the sump here. I've angled it away from the pump so that it has to travel the length of the sump and over the heaters before it's pumped out. Here's a good shot of the heaters and pump. The Eheim heaters are really large and seem to be doing a great job. As for the plants, I'd like to thank everyone who offered suggestions after last week's video. I'm still weighing all of my options. I might even do a DIY algae scrubber, in which case I'll be sure to make a video about it. This video series may have an addendum at some point because there are a few minor things that I still need to work on. The plants obviously, but also I want to cut holes in the fish tank lids for automatic feeders, add some power heads to push the waste toward the SLO intakes, and add some PVC fittings to give the fish some hiding spots. But the main work is done. It's been a lot of work, but I'm glad I did it. I know this has been a long series, but frankly, it's been a long build. I appreciate all of you sticking with me over the past couple of months. As always, I'd love to hear what you think down in the comments. And if this is your first time here, then I would love to have you subscribe. Because each week, I bring you a new video sharing my experiences in the aquarium hobby. I give updates on my tanks, review products, show you DIY projects, and share tips and tricks to help you take your tank to the next level. Hit subscribe to follow along. Have a good one.